What's up, cooks? Welcome to the Card Kitchen. I am the Card Chef, and today we are cooking up a discussion and trying to figure out who is better between Arbok versus Galvantula. That's right, Arbok versus Galvantula. In case you're wondering, I just posted an Arbok and a Galvantula deck list, two of them in the description below. Go check those out if you feel like doing that. So the reason why we're comparing these two cards and trying to discuss which ones we think are better is because they both have the same effect from their attack, and it reads as is: during your opponent's next turn, the defendant Pokemon can't retreat. So this is very good because you can lock in those big EX Pokemon and have the ability to two-shot them automatically because they cannot retreat. So these two Pokemon will two-shot things like Pikachu EX automatically. And because Galvantula, unlike Arbok, who only has 60 damage, Galvantula has 70, Galvantula will also be able to two-shot anything that is 130 and 140 HP. Arbok, of course, can do that as well. However, it would need the support of something like Poison, which is very good to pair it with things like Weezing, or with the help of Giovanni. However, when it comes to something like Mewtwo EX, Arbok can absolutely two-shot the Arbok, or two-shot the Mewtwo without the help of Poison or Giovanni, whereas Galvantula would need the help of Giovanni. However, it does not really have a supporting cast like Arbok does, things like the Weezing to help out with Poison, and that's kind of one of the issues that Galvantula has, is it just does not have a great support system. So Arbok is played with things like Weezing to get that poison damage, as well as being able to deny your opponent prize points by being able to bounce the Weezing back to bring the Arbok in. It also has a great secondary attacker in something like a Tauros, being able to attack into those EX Pokemon very efficiently with high damage, whereas Galvantula as a build around card again just does not have that support. The way I built the Galvantula deck was with something like Electrode and Dodrio, so that all my other Pokemon have free retreat, so I can focus on the Galvantula as quickly as possible, get the energy on him, get him into the active, attack and knock out Pokemon as quickly as possible while I build up the other Pokemon in the back. It doesn't have something like Poison, and it doesn't really have a great tank. You could try it with maybe something like a Druddigon. However, again, it just won't do the same thing as Weezing because you won't really be able to bounce it out unless you lose something like a Leaf. However, the damage that is on Druddigon will still stay there. Again, you can try Galvantula in things like Pikachu EX, but then that becomes a Pikachu EX deck, and I do believe Galvantula, you want it to be a build around card like Arbok. It needs to kind of be the main focus of the deck, and because again it doesn't have the support system that Arbok does, it just doesn't do as well. And then when you really, the nail in the coffin for me is the 100 HP for Arbok and the 80 HP for Galvantula. Even though Galvantula can knock out more Pokemon than Arbok in 2 turns, especially when you consider things like Gyarados, which Arbok will never knock out in 2 turns, no matter how much poison and no matter how many Giovannis, will never knock out the Gyarados in 2 turns. The difference is that Arbok actually has a higher chance of two-shotting a Pokemon than Galvantula does because of the HP. Because yes, for sure, even though you're doing 70-70 against something like a Pikachu, what ends up happening is you do an energy on Galvantula, they do one on Pikachu, you do another on Galvantula, you attack, you lock him into place, but then you get knocked out. Whereas because Arbok has 100 HP, you do the same thing. You attack into the Pikachu, you tank a shot, you're left with 10 HP, then you knock out their Pikachu, and even if you get knocked out on the next turn, you traded a 2-for-1, whereas Galvantula will never be able to do that because of its 80 HP, and because you put all the focus and energy on your Galvantula, you have no other Pokemon loaded up in the back. So again, the final breakdown, I think the nail in the coffin is the 100 HP. It just has way too much value on Arbok. He has a way better support system. He doesn't have to rely solely on something like a Giovanni. He can also have support with poison from things like Weezin. That deck in general also denies your opponent prize cards, even though you can't knock out a Gyarados in 2 shots like a Galvantula could. Your Tauros as a secondary backup attacker actually can. So it just has a way better version of its deck and support system. And on top of that, Arbok is likely or can be considered the best dark deck in the game right now, whereas any Galvantula version would not be, especially when the best electric decks right now are Pikachu decks, and I do not think Galvantula works in Pikachu as well as any other supporting cast for Pikachu. So anyways, this is a very short breakdown. I just wanted to do this breakdown because I did just play Arbok and Galvantula, and at the end of the day, I still think Arbok is the better card of the two. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. If you have a better build for Galvantula, let me know as well. If you had success with it, put it into the description below and maybe I'll play it. Like, subscribe, and share, and as always, keep cooking.